Offer was accepted. Congrats. This is a huge step. But what happens next? You're probably wondering what you need to do now, and I'm going to share all of the steps along the way because it can get confusing. I'm David Mercier. I'm a licensed realtor in the state of California who believes dream homes do come true. I help people get from where they're at to the dream home that they want. Whether you are renting, you're living in a small condo, or you're just not feeling like your current place is your forever home, I can teach you how to get to the dream home you've been thinking about for years, no matter where you want to end up in the world. I specialize in California, but I've helped people all over, no matter what city or country they want to be in. And we can work together if it is a good fit for both of us. So if that is something that's interesting to you, reach out to me. Let's chat. In the meantime, subscribe so you don't miss a part of my home buying journey series where I've been breaking down all of the steps along the way. I'm doing this to arm you with the most knowledge possible. So when it comes time for you to make real estate decisions, of course, you're going to be chatting with your agent, but you'll feel empowered to make the best choices for you and your goals. I hope this is helpful. And now let's dive into what happens next after your offer is accepted. Escrow is open, and that's something that your agent does with the listing agent and maybe some other people that are going to be involved in the transaction. Now, escrow is a neutral third party organization that is going to make sure that you and the seller are both performing all of the things that are in the purchase contract for the home. They're going to hold on to the money and they're going to make sure that it is released to the right places at the right times. And they're also going to protect you as the buyer. If something goes wrong and you want to cancel escrow, they're going to be the ones who return the money to you per the contract agreement. I'm going to get into all the details of what escrow is and why it's important in my next video, so make sure you subscribe. But in the meantime, just think of them as the transaction referee. Shortly after escrow is opened, you're going to be asked to wire your EMD. Now, that is your earnest money deposit, and as we talked about in the offer video, you can go back and watch, and I'm actually going to break down the EMD and its importance and what to do with it in a future video. But basically, it is a portion of what your down payment is going to be. Typically, it's 1 to 3% of your purchase price, and you send it to the escrow company to show the seller that you are serious about moving forward with the purchase of their home. And it's one of the items that you write into your offer to say, like, hey, we're serious. We're going to perform all of the duties that are on our end of this contract, like investigating and having all the inspections and the appraisal and getting your loan and all of that stuff. And this is just the first step in your obligations based on the contract. Furthermore, most sellers won't let you start your property inspection until escrow has received your wire transfer of your EMD. Next up, you have your inspections and investigation time for the home. This is when you're really going to get to know the home that you're buying. And don't freak out. You're going to have time to renegotiate the terms of your purchase based on what you find during the investigations. So during the investigations, you're going to do like a general property inspection. I'll get into all of the different types of inspections in a different video, so subscribe. But you're going to start with the general property inspection, and then based on that, they might recommend some specific systems be inspected, like maybe the roof, maybe the sewer system, maybe the HVAC system, stuff like that. You're also going to receive a lot of documents that are called disclosures. Now, in it, you have if the home or the condo is in an HOA, you'll get all the rules for that HOA. You're going to get a big stack of paper that was filled out by the seller that they disclose all the known information about the home, and that's going to cover like what kind of material is the roof and the counters in the kitchen and stuff like that, and also if they've done repairs, if they've had any um, problems like leaks and things like that, and when it happened, what they did to remediate it, and just general knowledge about the home that they know. For example, one thing that people might put in there is like if they have a neighbor who throws a huge Fourth of July bash in their front yard every year, that is just fun, but also loud and crazy. They might put that in there just to give you a warning if you've not been to the property on the day of that party. And stuff like that. A really common one in California is that a home is in like an airport. What do you call it? Path. So you hear planes taking off and landing often. If you're getting a loan, it's going to be required, but you can also opt to do this if you want. It'll be an out-of-pocket expense, but an appraisal should happen. And this is just the bank's protection to make sure that the amount that they're lending you for the home matches the value of the home at the time of the purchase. And It also protects you because if your appraisal becomes low, if your appraisal report comes back lower than your purchase price, you are going to have the ability to renegotiate the purchase price with the seller or walk away if you don't want to take on getting a loan and paying more than what the home is worth. And so that's a great protection for you. Typically, it costs $500 to $1,000 to do that. Sometimes lenders will cover the cost or a portion of the cost. So you need to speak to your lender. But I'll go into all of the stuff about an appraisal in a later video. And then once you get further down the timeline of escrow, you're going to be asked to remove contingencies. Now, contingencies we talked about in a previous video are all of the protections in the contract for you, like inspections, disclosures, getting home insurance, and the appraisal and getting your loan. So as you go through all of these items and you're checking them off and you're getting satisfied with the result of those, like you do the inspection and you negotiate with the sellers to fix some things or credit you money to fix them yourself, or with the appraisal, same thing. Um, Once you're satisfied, then you're going to be asked to remove contingencies, and each contingency in your offer contract is going to have a date or a deadline. So typically, you'll be asked to remove them by the deadline. If for some reason it's a day or two past the deadline, as long as both sides are communicating with each other about the reason, like say the appraisal couldn't happen for some reason and so it got delayed a day, and then the report's going to be like the next day, but you're supposed to remove the appraisal contingency. Typically that's okay. But you just want to make sure that your agent is communicating with the listing agent. And at some point in your process, you're going to need to remove all contingencies, and that means you're satisfied with all of the information you've received and renegotiations if they've happened, and you're ready to move forward with the purchase of the home. And the next big step is signing the loan documents. If you're getting a loan for your home, once the appraisal comes back and the contingencies have been removed, the lender is going to finalize all of the stuff they need to do on their end to get the loan prepared for you. And once that's happened, they're going to have you sign a lot of loan documents. Now, typically this is done in the presence of a notary. There's a whole video about it that I'll go into, but you can just expect that this is a major step and it is in the home stretch of your escrow. And finally, there's going to be a final walkthrough day that'll happen within a couple of days of closing. At this point, the sellers have usually moved out unless, in the contract you've allowed them to stay past closing or something like that. But most of the time they've moved out, and this is giving you the chance to go back and make sure that the home is in the same condition that it was when you put the offer on. Now, there might be a few little like things that you notice, like scuff on the wall or things like that, that are minor from them moving out, and you're probably going to paint the walls anyway when you move in. But if like something major happens, this is your last chance to pause the closing of the escrow to be able to find a solution to whatever the issue is. And so usually your agent wouldn't let closing happen until you and the seller have an agreement to fix whatever the issue is. So that is the basic timeline outline of escrow. I'm going to break each step down in future videos, so make sure you subscribe. And don't worry if this feels overwhelming. It is a lot of information. That's why I put this series together. But you can always rely on your agent to maintain the timeline for you and just let you know each step that you need to take care of and by when, to help mediate any of that stress. It's going to be stressful, like we talked about in the beginning. There's always going to be stress involved, but your agent should help you get through it as easy as possible and help to take on as much of that stress as they can. So remember, if you're buying a home anywhere in the world, especially in SoCal, I can help you. I would love to be a part of your dream home journey. So reach out. And of course, if you have any questions about the process along the way, you can put them in a comment or reach out to me anywhere you find me online, and I will answer your questions. Thanks.